Okay, a little bit of thought of Raw. I did see some of it, not all of it. I want to make this very clear to some people who see me for years and you know how I think. As much as everyone is really beginning to feel really good about what's going on with, well, Eric Bischoff has really not shown that he's in control of Smackdown yet. If he ever will be. Because from what I understand, he's not controlling of creative. He's just controlling the operations of the Smackdown brand itself, not creative. So I'm not saying anything about that. Comes to Raw and Paul Heyman, the way they've been structuring it, you could say that he is in control of the creative there. So it's still a mess. Let's be honest here. Raw is still a mess. It wasn't a great episode, let's be honest. But I will say there were certain things that were okay, certain things that happened, but I am going to say what I really feel. When it comes to Bray Wyatt, I'm going to say this to everyone who's watching this. Be skeptical. That doesn't mean not enjoy the work Bray Wyatt has been doing in the Firefly Funhouse. Finally got that out. No one's saying the Funhouse has been good. No one's saying the promos haven't been good. No one's saying that what happened at SummerSlam wasn't great. But be skeptical. We have gone through this 4 iterations before. Yes, he was still the same Bray Wyatt. There hadn't been a major change like it is this time. But he had 4 opportunities with 4 mainstay people. Daniel Bryan. You had Randy Orton. You had John Cena. And you had Roman Reigns. Those major guys did not get him anywhere. Nowhere. So we got a 5th iteration of him with a total character change, with some of his old character mixed in with it. I still say be skeptical. Unless you see winning and winning and winning matches. And it culminates in him getting a title and destroying the demon Finn Balor at a pay-per-view, because that's the only type of rival he could have. I know it could be Roman Reigns, and yes, that is also important. If he goes against Roman Reigns, he's got to beat him. But if he does not win, he does not get a title, and he still does great promos in the Firefly Funhouse, it means nothing, so be skeptical. And now when it comes to Sasha Banks, I want to make this brief. From what I understand, she has at least 2 or 3 years left on her contract. For me personally, when I found out that she came back, I did not want her back. I did not want to see her on TV. But I had to think about it. If she had 2 or 3 years left on her contract, does that mean she's going to be sitting home, not able to go any promotion? Remember, she's still signed under contract. She can't break it unless she's going to be sued. And the WWE would win. So she had 2 to 3 years left on her contract. What is she going to do? Sit home like a Neville, who managed to get out of his contract within about a year or so? Or be where she is, knowing that she can't break her contract, they won't let her leave. Staying home is not going to mean anything, particularly like what happened with Luke Harper. They're doing nothing with him, and now they're adding time because he's been away. What are you going to do? Best option, just come back and deal with it. Unless she can find a way to break the contract, she's bound by it. And if she's bound by it, she's going to eventually have to come back. Period. I'm not going to say about the storyline or anything. I'm just talking about why she came back, because there was no option. Now, Smackdown Live. Was it a good show? Maybe. I'm not sure. Because the King of the Ring has now come back, but it's not on a pay-per-view. It's on regular TV, and I'm not fond of that. I'm being honest. Anybody else is great and happy about it. I am not happy about it. It's a pay-per-view, signature pay-per-view, and it should be that. It shouldn't have been set up for regular TV. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to mean something special. By them doing this, they're trying to boost their ratings. And it makes me very worried that next week when SmackDown and Raw are going to be doing the King of the Ring tournament, and not knowing if the final participants are going to be on a pay-per-view or not, because they could still do this on TV, doesn't really highlight anybody. It should be something special on a pay-per-view to really solidify somebody. Here on regular TV, just no. Sorry for the noise. There's a lot of noise in this area. The fire department, police department this time of the year is just busy because people are just insanely stupid. But anyway, I'm just not fond of it. But taking away from that, this show had things in it. Okay. Not saying it was great, but it did have stuff in it. Opening of the show was Kevin Owens talking about how he beat. He's in my face. Look, let's make this clear. I just did not have an interest in the feud. Was the work in the ring good? Yes, it was okay. It was good, okay, for what it was. But seeing that Shane had no consequence means nothing. That means the feud meant nothing, so I had no interest in it. Taking away from the match, I want to make it clear. There's the feud itself and the match, just like most of what was on this Smackdown Live. The feud and the match itself. So when you look at it, the feud was nothing. The match was okay. And them talking about the match, I didn't care. When they would talk, well, Shane did not talk about the King of the Ring much. It was Kevin Owens being very, very enthusiastic that he's going to be finally being in the King of the Ring. He's always loved it. Then Shane comes out and pretty much said, you're a coward for facing me the way you did and beating me the way you did. And then he shows a scene, which is in my face, getting hit in the nuts. Now, people were happy that Shane lost. People were happy saying, shut the hell up. Pretty much, that's kind of what they were saying. You can't wrestle, whatever. But getting a $100K fine because of Elias was just stupid. I don't care. Legitimately, I don't care. Then, Shane's telling him, you got a match tonight. And it's against, and this is what pisses me off, because they supposedly try to sponsor Samoa Joe possibly turning face because of Roman Reigns putting him over as a good guy. Basically saying, I'm sorry. I apologize for what happened, for blaming you. And then he had that talk in the ring on Monday saying, I have accepted and forgiven Roman Reigns, but I don't forgive none of you. And I thought, okay, he could be a face that is basically a badass that doesn't accept nothing from nobody, takes no nonsense, being something, not like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, but something like him, like saying, you know what, fuck you. I don't give a damn. I am the submission machine. I can do whatever hell I want. And if he chooses to be a good guy, he can. If he's not going to be working with the good guys, and he's not going to be working for the bad guys, he's going to be working for himself. That I could see as a face who's a badass who doesn't need nobody. But what do we get? We get Shane McMahon getting Samoa Joe to help him go up against Kevin Owens, and Samoa Joe enjoying it. This is where I get, like, why? Taking away from the match, and I'll talk about it in a moment. Why? It just didn't feel right. Not that I wanted him to say, I'm a good guy, I don't need you. I'm doing what's right. No. We're talking about Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe doesn't give two flying farts about anyone. That's how he was in Impact Wrestling. When he was in the mood, he don't care if you're a good guy, he don't care if you're a bad guy. He is going to do whatever he feels is right. And he's going to nail you both. But the way he was acting like a bad guy. So what was that all about? With Samoa Joe getting an apology from Roman Reigns, which would turn him face. He's not a face. They basically went against it. They went against what they just set up. And then when you look at his match, it solidifies it because you see him fighting like a heel. You see Elias as the enforcer again. I don't care about Elias. In the end, Elias pulls out the ref because Samoa Joe's about to get pinned. And I will say the match was good between them both. I'm not saying that Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe cannot wrestle. They do wrestle. I'm sure they wrestled each other many times outside WWE. And it was a good match. But in the end, Elias pins. Well, not Elias pin. Elias count. You see I'm botching because it just means nothing. What does this give Samoa Joe? Nothing. Nothing. It gives Samoa Joe nothing. He wins the match, but he acts like a heel, and it's like he never got anywhere. He's still a damn jobber that can talk great, but can't do anything either without someone's help or win a match by himself. That's how it feels. Now let's get to Buddy Murphy versus Roman Reigns. I might as well get this over with right now. After what happened, you've seen that Roman Reigns having this match with Buddy Murphy. Now, let's put this in perspective for Buddy Murphy. He's in my face. The guy hasn't been seen for months. At all. Had one moment with that stupid town hall meeting in, 2 or 3 weeks ago. He now gets his ass whooped by Roman Reigns. He also does not even get a chance to finish a match after getting his ass whooped by Roman Reigns because Eric Rowan, or Rowan, kicks his ass before he can finish with Apollo Crews. And now he has this match with Roman Reigns that I knew 100% he wasn't going to win. He would put up a great match, but it meant nothing. This is his first Smackdown match. And let's be honest here. Buddy Murphy, as a competitor, as a wrestler, is way better than Roman Reigns. You could see it the way the match went. Roman's not a bad wrestler. I'm going to make it clear to anyone who does like him. I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler. His character is what's screwing him over. His character sucks. But as a wrestler, he's an okay wrestler. He's not much better than most wrestlers who have wrestled, who have certain moves, and is doing more power than anything else. So I'm not saying he can't wrestle. Let's be honest here. Did you actually believe that he was going to lose to Buddy Murphy? Nope. So we see Buddy Murphy put up a great showing and got his ass whooped. And yeah, Roman Reigns said, you got it. Well, I believe that's what he was saying to him, like, all right, you good, all right. But then you got, before I get to that part with the the planet's champions, I'm still calling them that, even if they don't have no tag team championships. The planet's champions, they had their moment in front of the stage. And it was Daniel Bryan who basically said, I can understand why Buddy Murphy lied. He had to. He got a guy basically rubbing up against his face, about to rip it off. And every one of you would do the same thing and lie. But we didn't do anything. We're not the ones to blame here. But we're going to find out. So after the Buddy Murphy match with Roman Reigns, where he got his ass handed to him with a very destructive spear, it's in my face, he does a flip just like, Roman Reigns just copied Bobby Lashley in his flip spear. He just did it and turned Buddy Murphy inside out. I didn't say it, but Buddy Murphy sold his ass off. But, as you see again in my face, Buddy Murphy was confronted by the world's champions. The planet's champions, I'm sorry. And Daniel Bryan said this, tell the truth. We know you had to lie. Tell the truth. And he says nothing, Buddy Murphy. He keeps getting grilled until pretty much Roman grabs him and smashes him up. Throws him around just like a Roman Reigns. He's up against a wall again. And he said, I lied. And guess what? He gets one last word from Daniel Bryan saying, you know what? I don't like liars. And Rowan pretty much throws him again. And pretty much Buddy Murphy gets nothing. So you got Roman Reigns putting over Samoa Joe supposedly by saying, I forgive you. Saying, I'm sorry. I apologize. And Samoa Joe saying, I forgive Roman Reigns. Then you got Buddy Murphy, who has not been seen on TV since he had been moved to SmackDown Live. Have a moment, one moment, with the top guy in the company. Then gets a match in SummerSlam, which is a kickoff show. Gets his ass handed to him by Rowan. Then gets a match with the top guy. Gets his ass handed to him there, even though he put up a great fight. And then again gets his ass handed to him in the back like it was Roman Reigns. He's in my face. This was a waste of time for Buddy Murphy and Samoa Joe. I can be wrong. Maybe they will book them better. But as far as I can tell, neither one of them got anything. Now, Ember Moon versus a Charlotte. Now, what does this gain for Ember Moon? Nothing. Ember Moon had that match. And I knew she wasn't going to win against Bayley. Now she's going up against Charlotte, who just beat Trish Stratus in a sloppy-ish match. The beginning was sloppy, the end got better, and the crowd really made the match. That's the truth. Whether you agree with me, fine. Tell me the reason why. What part of the match at SummerSlam am I missing? Don't tell me I need to go to rehab. That makes you look really dumb to the rest of the people who see your damn comments. Now, you know what? Whoever does that, and I believe I know who it is, I apologize. It's not nice to be disrespectful to someone, even if they're not being disrespectful to you. Because it doesn't show you're the better man. So I do apologize. But I do encourage this very person. I'm not even going to say your name. You know who you are. Say why Ember Moon did not make that match between Charlotte. Because Charlotte did not work that well with her. And if anyone says, well, Ember was too short for her, it makes no difference how tall or short you are. You learn to adapt. And I say this again. Charlotte is not an adaptive wrestler. Look at this scene right here. She's doing a Boston Crab to try and mess with her. And instead of her leaning a little bit lower, because Ember is shorter, she does not start to squat to make it look a little more believable. As I said before, Charlotte is not an adaptive wrestler. She's a good wrestler. I'm not saying that she's not. But there's a difference, and I want to have someone tell me what they don't understand about an adaptive wrestler. That means they're great wrestlers, can work with anyone like Ric Flair, her dad, and a Charlotte who's just a good wrestler, but really can't adapt to the situation. Because if she was smart, Charlotte would squat more during that match. She would make herself a little bit smaller. Just not like squat down all the way to an Ember Moon's height, but at least squat a little bit to make the moves more believable. Because as it stands, she just acted like Charlotte. Always act. It don't make a difference you're tall or short. She hits you in the same place, which looks choppy, sloppy, and really not believable. That Boston Crab where she was leaning back to try and hurt Ember to my face again. She wasn't even squatting low enough. In the end, I didn't expect Ember to win. It was exactly as I expected. A simple, straightforward figure 8 end. But am I going to say she didn't do at least her job? She did. Was she playing up to the crowd as a heel? Yes, she was. She's a great heel. Does not mean she's a great wrestler. There's a difference between being a heel and being a wrestler. She's a good wrestler that can ham it up as a heel when she's in the ring. When she's talking on the mic, nope, she's not that good. Let's move on. Okay. Let's put this in perspective with Aleister Black. If anyone likes these promos from Aleister Black, explain to me why. As far as I understood from NXT, and I did see him a bit in NXT, he didn't need to 100% hide himself because he was a threat to everyone. He would basically confront anyone and say simply, I'm the best. I am the Dutch Destroyer. I can destroy anyone. I can destroy you. You are not a match for me. Don't ever call me out. Period. But you get this. This Aleister Black that's in my face. You don't get a real Aleister Black. This is a joke. I want to see Aleister Black confront people. Go straight to their face and say, want to fight? I'm bored. No one is my equal. No one is my challenge. No one comes close to me. If he had continued a feud between him, had a feud between him and Cesaro, where Cesaro losing twice to Aleister Black because he's so that damn good, you could have had an Aleister Black and a Cesaro feud that would have easily been one of the highlights of both shows. Having just one feud between the two shows, even though I'd rather see them separate, would have helped. Because Aleister Black defeating Cesaro twice would make that Swiss man go nuts. Because he's someone who's a perfectionist that can't stand it. And he would have easily made this feud work. This, I'm completely disgusted by Aleister Black. Not because he can't talk great, because he can. Not that he can't work in the ring great. The guy is really good in the damn ring. He knows how to have a nice presence in the ring. Look, the guy has a look that is so unique. He could be the next Undertaker. Because of all those damn tattoos, he could be the next Light and Darkness if it's not Bray Wyatt. But I get this, I'm bored. I'm done. Okay, what else do we have here? Let's move on to the Revival versus New Day. I'm probably sure I'm forgetting something, so I'm sorry. Revival versus New Day. I was not fond of seeing a six-man tag because a Randy Orton comes out saying simply, what you did at SummerSlam showed everyone, me and everybody else, you're scared of me. You can't defeat me. You're no match for me. And you will never be better than me. And when you got to confront your kids about this, and you have to tell them that mean monster, that mean man, Randy Orton, I can't beat him, you're going to have to deal with that. But you know what? Right now, I want something. I want a match. Why don't we make it a six-man tag? And the minute that happened, I'm going, facepalm. No! I don't want to see a six-man tag. I understand why they did it. I want to make it clear. I understand why they did it. But does not mean I agree with it. I've seen the New Day do six-man tags when it came to, guess who? The ones that he's dealt with already. Kofi Kingston, he had Dolph Ziggler in a six-man tag at one point, and he had Kevin Owens in a six-man tag at one point. Combining other people together does not always mean it's going to work. Now, what happened was that you did get the Revival and Orton winning. And pretty much Kofi getting an RKO, Woods getting an RKO, and Biggie getting an RKO. You could say it's okay, but to be honest, he had to do something more to Biggie and more to Xavier Woods. He should have cut Xavier Woods' hair. Honestly. He could have taken the pancakes. I'm sure they put them somewhere. He could have taken the pancakes and shoved them down their mouths to rub it in their faces that you're nothing. He could have humiliated them both in a more dramatic way than just RKOing them. That's the way a Randy Orton really works. What he did with Jeff Hardy, pulling at his earlobe and rubbing off his face to get that paint off, that was awesome. That was gruesome and awesome. This just felt average. And I'm not blaming Randy Orton. Whoever gave him that bit to do, it sucked. I just felt like it could have been more. You had to have the match, understand. But the ending of the match, he should have done more than just RKO'd each of Kofi's best friends, who he loves like family. Was this a good SmackDown Live? It was okay. It was just passable. To me, just passable. Other people probably like it. I'm sure other people are going to like it. Let me see. Am I forgetting anything? No. That's pretty much it for me. I just didn't see anything very good to it. Other people are going to probably like it. And if they do, more power to them. But to me personally, I want more. It's just passable, SmackDown Live. It was just passable when it comes to Raw. As I said how can I say this? I said clearly, Charlotte was the only person left that they can do anything with. And now that Sasha Banks is back, you're going to have something for Raw. But SmackDown? I just don't see anything really good for SmackDown. I'm legitimately considering stopping after this. This might be my last SmackDown Live review. Unless I do like an overview saying, well, there was one thing I liked and I talk about that. This might be my last SmackDown review. Unless you guys want me to do more, please tell me below. Just tell me, because I'm just, why am I watching SmackDown? Raw isn't that great, but SmackDown's boring and worse. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace!